Hello and welcome everyone. Just a quick heads up that this project was built using ASP.NET 5, which is the legacy version and out of support. So in order to get the best of the project, which is still very relevant, what you need to do is to create a new project in ASP.NET 8 or ASP.NET 9 in Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code and bring all the NuGet packages to their latest version compatible with whatever platform you are choosing, and then use the same startup and program class as you did in the, as you find it in this project in the GitHub repository, whose source files can straight away be copied and pasted in the new ASP.NET framework. It will still work, or you have the choice of using the minimal program file, which combines program and startup class in one file, and you can enjoy the rest of the video in pretty much the same way as you have enjoyed it in ASP.NET earlier version.
Please be patient. And so adding the product model to the existing project created in part 2, we have created a shell of a project in ASP.NET Core Web API template, and we are going to add today. So context class and interface, and I'll quickly read it out because there are quite a few. Configure for supporting entity framework core, define the connection string, generate the database, mediator pattern, and configure mediator. So we'll talk about mediator pattern a bit, so which will be used in this CQRS pattern. Create the product controller, implementing the CRUD operations, queries, commands, and product controller, and testing, final testing with Swagger. Okay, so let's switch over to Visual Studio now. Now, let me also tell you there are a few nugget packages that you have to do from the package manager console. There are Mediator, MediatR, MediatR.extensions.microsoft.dependency injection, and MediatR is a NuGet package for helping implementation of Mediator pattern in ASP.NET Core. And then Microsoft.entityFramework.core.relational, Microsoft.entityFramework.core.SQL Server, and Microsoft.entityFramework.core.tools, and Swashbuckle.ASP.NET Core.Swagger. So these are the 7 NuGet packages that we are going to install, apart from the 3 which are already existent when we created the project first. So they are, so in the part 2 we have already created this product microservice project within this solution of microservices.web API. So now it has got product microservice, customer microservice, which is yet to be written, and the gateway.web API. So these projects have to be slowly filled in. So these were the 3 installed packages, and I am going to install those packages that I have just told you in the last slide. So here you can see that I have got my NuGet package manager, and I've got this tools. So let me get to the NuGet package manager. So this was actually the page which is having the browse. You can browse for a NuGet package, and these are the installed NuGet packages, 3 number, and these are the updates of the existing installed NuGet packages. So if you click on tools and if you choose NuGet package manager and go for the package manager console, the package manager console is getting prepared over here. You can see that. So I have opened the unfinished project that we started in the part 2. Now you can see here, this is customer.microservice. That means the customer microservice project was made as a startup project. So I will right click here and I will set this as the startup project. And before I issue the command to install the NuGet packages, I need to make the default project also as product.microservice, and then right click, and I've got on my clipboard, which I'll paste for issuing all the packages through this package manager console by issuing these commands. So I will come back after installing all the packages. Okay, so you can see that the install packages are also increasing in number from the earlier 3. So now we are back. Now you can see that these are the installed packages. So all of these installed packages that I have listed in the previous slide, which is again these packages. So just remember there are 7 packages. Now I have been able to put them side by side. You can see that MediatR and then MediatR.extensions.microsoft.dependency injection and Microsoft.entity framework core, and then Microsoft.entity framework core.relational and Microsoft.entity framework core.SQL server and entity framework core.tools. So tools is still not there, so I will just issue a command to install the Microsoft.entity framework core.tools. That is also essential. Let me see once again. Right, it's not there. So I will now issue the command to install the tools package also. So it is installing the Microsoft.entity framework core.tools. So that's all. So now you will see Microsoft.entity framework core.tools. Okay. So now let me close this window for the NuGet packages and right click on this project, and I'll have to create a models folder. Click on add new folder and rename this as models. So right click, rename models, and right click to add class. So I will name this is the product class. So product class. So the product class is now created, and in which I will paste the code for the product class just to save time, right? So now my product class consists of this name, description, and price. Price is a decimal and other two are string with an int ID. Next, I will make on this product microservice project, I will add another folder and name it context. So add new folder. It will be database context folder, and I will add a class and name this class as application context. Just capital A. Without any space. That is what Microsoft wants. Application context, click on add. So to this public class application context, this will be actually deriving, this will be implementing the DB context class. So DB context. Now DB context class requires a library, which is, if you click on this light bulb icon and click on potential fixes using Microsoft.entity framework core. Okay, so now this this squiggly line is gone, and this is my application context class completed. So public DB set product. So why it is telling that, it is telling the squiggly line is a compile time error. It is telling product is a namespace but is used like a type. So okay, so this is one of the product appears to be one of the namespaces. The part of the product is the part of the namespace is also containing product. So it's not liking it to be named as simply as product. So I will actually name it as product dot fully qualified name of this class, which will be product.microservices.models folder, and then product. Okay, now this is happy. So just click on, just save it. Now this application context class, what it will do, it will help us to access the data using Entity Framework Core ORM. Now next we'll navigate to our API project startup class. So I have got the startup class of this product microservices, and I have got this configure services method and add this snippet of code. So services.addDB context, application context. Now this application context needs another library using product.microservices.context, and this one refers to another using statement, which is Microsoft.entity framework core, that needs to be included. So apply. Right, so Microsoft.entity framework core has been included along with this product.microservice.context. So it's all happy. All the squiggly lines are gone. Now this line configuration.get connection string, it says that the connection string that is named as default connection is already created, but we haven't defined any such connection, have we? We'll do it next. So we'll define the connection string in the app settings.json. So below the logging in the JSON file app settings.json, I'll just copy this code connection string with the default connection. The server is the local database local db / ms SQL local db, okay, which is ms SQL local db. This one in the SQL Server Object Explorer that is open in front of you, and the database will be development DB and trusted connection true. These are the stereotype connection string for a Windows authentication, not a SQL Server authentication. Okay, so that will be not covered in this part, the nature of the SQL connections. So Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication are beyond the scope, but this is a Windows authentication. Next, we'll have to generate the database. So how will we generate the database? So now that we have our models and connection string ready, all we have to do is to generate a database from the defined models. For this, we have to use the package manager. So we'll have to open this package manager console again. So tools, NuGet package manager console, and I'll have to add this code, this part, which is add migration, and I'll call this initial migration. Okay, and click on enter. It will add the migration, initial migration, if everything is all right. Okay, so build started. It first builds the application. You can see the build succeeded already. It is taking a wee while, so we'll come back again after it completes. So now the migration is added, migration folder is added automatically, and it's an initial migration. This is the partial class initial migration, which is actually derived from the migration class and initial designer, and application context model snapshot.cs has been automatically generated. Okay, so what happens is now we'll have to update the database. So at the moment, this yellow lined message, no type was specified for the decimal property price on entity type product. Okay, so we have actually specified this as a decimal property. So this will cause values to be silently truncated, but we'll overlook this statement for the time being, and we'll proceed and issue another command to generate the database with update. So update database command, which will start the build again, and build succeeded. So everything has gone all right. So we'll again look over this message, and done message means the database has been updated. So let's refresh this database and then come back again, database, and then development DB tables. Now this time we have got the db.products table, and this is the structure of the table: ID, name, description, price as per our model. And so we have seen entity framework core in action now. Now let's see the Mediator pattern. Now, while building applications, especially ASP.NET Core applications, it's highly important to keep in mind that we always have to keep the code inside controllers as minimal as possible. The controllers theoretically are just routing mechanisms that take in a request and sends it internally to other specific services or libraries and return the data. It wouldn't really make sense to put all your validations and logics within the controller. So Mediator pattern is yet another design pattern that drastically reduces the coupling. Now we'll dive deep into the Mediator, not in now, in some other post maybe. And Mediator pattern is well suited for CQRS implementation, and we have got a MediatR library which we'll be using. So next we'll configure the MediatR by um, copying this code to the configure services method again. So let's see the startup class of product microservices, and then we'll use this services.addDB context. So even below that I can write services.addMediator assembly.get executing assembly. So there is a potential fix I have to use using Mediator. This library has to be used. Use system.reflection. Okay, so system.reflection has to be used there because we are indeed using reflection with this assembly type, and it needed that class system.reflection. Okay, now we can create the product controller as per the learning outcome, but I will postpone it till a later time because we won't be coding it for the time being, and instead we'll implement the CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete operation. And how we'll do, we'll create a features folder in the root directory of the project. Okay, so add new folder and call this features. Right, and within this features directory I will add two more directories: product features and one other. So this new folder will be product features, because this is product features actually, product features. And within this product features I will have commands and queries for implementing the CQRS pattern. So uh, another new folder, call this command, and rather commands. It's a pluralistic term. And click on add, and then new folder, queries, to keep all the read queries. And commands are insert, update, delete. That changes the database. Okay, queries don't change the database. This is just a retrieve operation. So product features, then product features, and under product features, commands and queries. So now we'll make the classes for getting all products and get product by a particular ID. So under the queries folder, I will make one class, rather one by one, two classes. So add class and call this class get all products query. So So get all products query class is created for me. So get all products query. So now I will paste the code in this class. After pasting the code from my clipboard, I have completed the get all products query, which actually implements an I request interface from the mediator. Okay, this is a marker interface to represent a request with a response. And if you look into this definition, it comes from the metadata class, public interface I request, so which is part of the assembly mediator. Okay, now um, previously I have also extracted an I application context from the application context class. And how did I do that? There is an easy trick. All you need to do is right click over the entire class, highlight the application context class for which you want to extract the interface, and click on edit, and then click on refactor and extract interface. Okay, so if you click on OK, it will create another I application context interface. It was already created, so this will be renamed as I application context 1.cs. So I'll click on cancel because I have already created it. Okay, this is the I application context. Because why I had to create it? Because I will be using it later. Okay, so I application context. Now this is the reverse process I followed. I wrote the class first and then extracted the interface out of this. Okay, so you can see dbset models.product dbset models.product products. Okay, so it has already taken into context the namespace as product.microservice.context. Okay, so it is within the same folder. That's why this is actually extracted as models.product. So because context and models are on the same level. Right, now I'll have to now use another class. I have to create rather to save time. I have already created a get product by ID query. Okay, and this is the code. Now if you click on this get all products query, it uses an I request interface from the this one mediator class, and it also creates another embedded class within the get all products query, which is a get all products query handler, and it implements I request handler rather than I request and passes on get all products query and the type, which generic type that is passed I enumerable product.microservice.models.product. Okay, and then as I was talking about this I application context class, why I extracted, because it will be used over here for dependency injection. And this one is simple. So asynchronously, it is actually finding this handle method is returning a product with the passed on ID. Okay, and if that passed on ID is equal to query.id, what is query? Get product by ID query. Okay, so then this will be returning a product. If the product is run null, return null, otherwise return the product. Similarly, get all products query is actually, it is asynchronously listing the products. Okay, and then returning the product list as read only. Now I'll have to create 3 new classes in the product feature and commands folder to create, delete and update. create delete a product by ID and update product command. So let's click on right click and then add and then class, and this call this class create product command. Okay, and this create product command, this is a command to create a new product. I'll just copy over the code. So, and then copy over the code that I have on my clipboard. This is create product command. So this will be also implementing iRequest and integer type. And what this does, it has got decimal, this is string name description price. This is actually replicating the product model class, and this create product command handler class is implementing iRequest handler type with create product command, which is passing this generic type over here and this integer. Okay, and then it is using the context object underscore context of type iApplication context, and then writing a product like this: new product dot service dot models dot product, which is the new product class initialized, and then product dot name and price and description are set as the command, which is actually passing on these parameters. All right, create product command is passing these these properties of the product class, and we are setting the name, price, and description properties, and then products.add context.products.add, and this product is added, and then changes are saved, and then product ID is returned as integer. Right click again, add class, update product command. Okay, and to this so highlight everything and then Control V to paste whatever I have got on my clipboard, and then save. And this is updating the product command much in the similar way that it does the create product command. Also implements iRequest integer, and then the product model is replicated over here, and update product command handler is also implementing iRequest handler, and it passes this class and the integer parameter. Okay, and then it creates the constructor, uses the dependency injection to use context object underscore context object, which is of iApplication context type, and this handle procedure asynchronously updates the product. How it does: context.products.where a goes to a.id equals command.id dot first or default. So with the passed in ID, the product is found and then product is updated. If the product is null, then return the default, else the product, the name, price, or description are set from the commands name, price, and description. Okay, and then the context is changed. Context is saved, and then product ID is returned. Then the delete class has to be created. So within this command folder, add another class. Name this class delete product by ID command. Okay, and on this delete product by ID command class, I copy over the code. So after copying over correctly, this is my class for deleting a product by ID, and this also has got delete product by ID command, which implements iRequest, very similar to the update and create. And here the delete product by ID command handler also receives an object of context type, application context type, as a dependency injection, and injects the dependency, and this handle method asynchronously looks for the product with that ID, and then if the product is returned, it removes that product, okay, and then saves the changes to the database and then returns the product ID. All right, building the project again, and it says that it build succeeded, 0 failed, 2 up to date. The two projects that we are not touching at the moment, customer and the gateway API. So they are up to date, and this build is succeeded for this product at microservice API. Now I'll have to write the products controller. So right click on the controllers folder. We have not created the controllers. We have kept it untouched. So add controller, and make it an empty. This time we'll create an empty API controller. Click on add and name it product controller. So I get rid of values and then write product instant. So product controller dot CS class. Right. Now again I have completed the product controller by copying and pasting, which is product controller class derives from controller base class, and it uses a mediator type, iMediator, iMediator type, and then it uses this iMediator mediator, and it actually uses this code mediator question mark, okay, equals. That means if it is not null, then this will be http context dot request service dot get service type of iMediator as iMediator. Okay, then this will be equal to this. Okay, and then create, it returns just an OK signal, await mediator dot send command, and it just returns the OK responses, await mediator dot send new get all products query, and get by ID. Similarly, await mediator dot send new get product by ID query, ID equals the passed in ID, and delete product by ID command, ID equals ID, and then update return OK. If ID is not equal to command ID, then it is a bad request it returns, otherwise it returns an OK after awaiting on this method mediator.send command. Right. Let's rebuild the application once more, or build the entire solution to see everything is still working. Build one succeeded, 2 up to date, right? So all that is now left, we have just come to the end, and we have come to the testing part. Since we have done with the implementation, let's check the result. For this, now we will use the Swagger UI. We have already installed the NuGet package. Let's configure it. Okay. So in the configure services method of this, let me close all the unnecessary tabs, unnecessary files. So close all tabs, and then just collapse all these folders, and then bring in startup.cs. Right, and I have to configure the Swagger. Okay, so I've copied on my clipboard. So I have, at some stage, I've already added the Swagger to the configure services method of the startup class. Okay, and I'll have to also include the code to include the application context interface over here. So over here, sorry, not this one. this part, services.add scope application context, which is actually implemented by application context class. So save it. So I've already added this as a middleware in my previous lecture. So app.useSwagger and app.useSwagger UI for this product.microservice class. Okay. Now let's run the application by clicking on this IIS Express icon. So wow, it has automatically come with the Swagger product.microservice. Okay, and the path is Swagger slash version1 swagger.json and product. This is a weather forecast which we'll ignore now. Product post get. So let's see. We'll have to post some. I mean, there is nothing that it will get at the moment. So if we try it, it is success. But if there is something in the database, it will get it. No parameters. If you click on execute, so nothing, response body is empty. Okay, so you clear it, cancel it, and then click on post, and then click on try it out. Okay, so name, description, and price. So name, I'll give it a name. So this is a product. Let's think that this is a whiteware or computer product, say laptop. Easy. Name is laptop. This is Mac. Okay, let's say price 2500 or 2300, whatever. Click on execute. Okay, so response, its response body is 1, server response header, code is success 200. All right, now we are ready for the get because one product we have already created. So get API product, try it out, execute. So you've got this ID, automatic auto-generated ID, the name laptop, description, this is Mac, and price 2300. Right, great. So it's all working with Swagger, and Swagger is also for documentation. It documents, it helps in documenting. It lets you document and test your API with great ease. No need for the postman. To add a new product, we have already shown product. You can add more products. So that's the end of the entire lecture. So in this lecture, we have covered a lot of things. So recap, we have added the product model to the existing project created in the earlier part. We have created a context class and interface, and we have configured for supporting entity framework core. We have defined the connection string, and we have generated the database. We have created the mediator pattern and configure mediator. We have created the product controller and implement the CRUD operation for the CQRS with the command and query classes, then the queries and then commands and the product controller completed. Finally, testing with Swagger. So thank you very much for attending this class.